Today's article is Antitrust Bill Targeting Amazon, Google, Apple Gets Support from DOJ. The Justice Department told lawmakers in a letter that the rise of dominant platforms presents a threat to open market and competition.
The Justice Department Monday endorsed legislation forbidding large digital platforms such as Amazon and Google from favoring their own products and services over competitors, marking the Biden administration's first full-throated support of the antitrust measure. The department views the rise of dominant platforms as presenting a threat to open markets and competition, with risks for consumers, businesses, innovation, resiliency, global competitiveness, and our democracy. The letter obtained by the Wall Street Journal expresses support for the American Innovation and Choice Online Act, which the Senate Judiciary Panel approved in January in a bipartisan vote, as well as similar legislation moving through the House. Amazon, Alphabet, Google, Apple, and others opposed the proposed legislation, saying it would make it harder to offer popular services. The bill's opponents also say it is fair for e-marketplaces, search engines, and app stores to profit off their creations' popularity. The department's letter throws its weight behind a different view, that the platform's dominant position gives them unchecked power to influence the fate of other businesses, and that restricting the platform's conduct would carry significant benefits. Discriminatory conduct by dominant platforms can sap the rewards from other innovators and entrepreneurs, reducing the incentives for entrepreneurship and innovation. Even more importantly, the legislation may support the growth of new tech businesses. So the Biden administration's support boosts the prospects for passing the legislation, which has cleared key committees in the House and Senate, but it still hasn't received a vote on the floor of either chamber, and it faces industry resistance as well as skepticism on both sides of the aisle. Some conservatives are wary of expanding the government's power to police digital markets, while some Democrats, particularly from California, says the legislation unfairly targets a handful of large companies. So at the January committee vote, a number of senators who voted yes said they still want to see changes to the bill before supporting it on the Senate floor. The legislation's backer, including Senate Amy and Chuck Grassley, sorry if I'm pronouncing it wrong, are in talks with their colleagues to craft a version of the bill that can pass.
It depends how you drive the conversation. If you want to go like very politically, then it becomes political, but you don't really have to. So this article is saying that monopoly is happening through some of the big companies out there, for example, Google, Amazon, Apple, blah, etc, and that people are thinking that they are the monopoly of search engines, app stores, and everything. So what is Monopoly? Monopoly is a game, guys. Does Monopoly not have a fine line of, or like an exact definition that people can all agree on? Monopoly just means a company or few companies control vast majority of an industry. It's when a single company controls the single market. So then, do you guys think Amazon, Google, Apple, those type of company are the monopoly of their market? I'm pretty sure there's no definition in terms of percentage of a market. Yeah. That would be pretty interesting to look into. A true monopoly would be a company that is effectively the only viable company in that market. And none of those fit that definition. So some people are saying pretty much yes, and some people are saying it's kind of not the correct definition. They're not monopolies unless you mark out something specific they do very successfully as a market. Let's start with Amazon. Is Amazon monopoly? Is there no companies that, does the same thing as what Amazon is doing? So back then, not during JinriCo time, it seems that there were AT&T, Mabel, Standard Oil, OTOH, I guess that's another company. They were true monopolies. So at the time, like back in the old time, there wasn't anything that was their competitors, no phone service providers at the time, and that's what true monopoly is called. Then why are people people who are considering why Amazon or other big company are monopoly, why do you guys think that they're monopoly then? So Amazon is a marketplace and they can promote Amazon Basic over competitors. There won't be other monopoly like Mabel because laws now exist to prevent that level of monopoly, but now we are finding new levels of monopoly. I wonder if it's also considered jealousy. But if you think about it, guys, if you really think about it, the article about JWCC earlier shows that Amazon has competitors. True. But guys, I just had this train of thought. I'm thinking, let's say you guys started making, you guys have a platform. Let's say you guys are the owner of Amazon, okay? B Bezos. One of your employee came up with this really great idea and they wanted to sell it on Amazon. And you're like, okay, sell it. You know that if you sell your product, you're gonna make profit. So wouldn't you want to promote your own product? And it's like, even if you promote it, doesn't mean that that's like, you know, like that consumers are obviously going to buy it. Promoting it doesn't always equal people are only going to buy that, right? Like, I think people are smart enough to compare what they're going to buy. Oh, of course, there's going to be people who are going to be like, oh, because Amazon is selling this and I'm going to buy it. So then what would the department, or I guess what would they have to do with to make everyone satisfied? Or is that even a thing? Like, can people be satisfied? Can we even like make a percentage of number, say that is the definition of monopoly? Let's say if you're controlling 99% of the market, then that's what monopoly is. Like, can't they just do that, or is that much more difficult to do? Alibaba or Groupon are some similar companies. True. They don't really promote their own product on the marketplace. Amazon will make a replica and kick the original company like the last time. Oh, is that what they do? I mean, maybe, but I still think antitrust laws are necessary for certain markets. True. I think it's important to draw a fine line of what is considered monopoly then. I guess it just sucks for... It just sucks for the consumer side if they're all just going to go up like that. Oh, I think I remember talking about this in my marketing class. That is a contract issue between Amazon and those companies, not a monopoly issue. Oh, so that's a different type of issue. I see why antitrust law is needed, but I think they have to define a fine line of how they're going to do it. So my other question is, can't the government help with the entrepreneur, or like support them, give them more funding? I don't know. I think it would suck for big companies because they put in so much effort to come this far, and the fact that government is like, oh my god, you're such a monopoly, like you should just break up. But how much and how can they decide who to help to break into the market saturated by these big companies? It would require billions of dollars. From the company's perspective, they want to use integration techniques to maximize efficiency and minimize the cost. The young companies so far behind because big data also plays a factor on sales to customers. True. To your point, but for consumers, antitrust can be seen as necessarily evil. Oh, really? Because it helps to prevent companies to raise price for no reason. Yeah, I think that I agree. People like Netflix, do you think it's really worth $10? Or for example, Google to be $12 for that subscription? I don't think so. All they're doing is not showing me ads. And come on, guys, like really? It should have just stayed at like what was it, like $7 before? So them just raising the price that should be changed upon. But the thing is, usually barriers to change for consumers should be considered when thinking about antitrust laws, antitrust. But if Google search or Amazon pissed off their consumers, it would be trivially easy for the customers to change provider. Apple and Google don't have to make more money. Yeah, so those people shouldn't increase money, or YouTube even. But anyways, conclusion for this article is we had a very good conversation in terms of, is it really monopoly? What is the definition of monopoly? Do we need it? Do you think that this is kind of going too far? Conclusion wise, maybe you might not want to consider them monopoly, but if they're doing anything like raising the price for no reason, like what secretary mentioned, then those things should be stopped, and that like we gotta figure out a better way to figure out the solution. But I think this was a very good article, at least for me, to understand what people think about, and that, you know, we can have a conversation that's related to political issues, or even, you know, and that without even talking about the politics. Good luck. Fighting. Justice Department, good luck. And Amazon, Google, Apple, good luck. Whoever wins will be fun, but, you know, I hope you guys settle down with a good solution.